Hi friends, I hope you have a wonderful day, and this time I'm gonna be reacting to the F1 driver who lost everything. That sounds promising, haha. Let's just check it out, because I don't know. So, yeah. Let's go.
What's worse than being fired from Formula One? How about having your replacement take your seat?
Red Bull have replaced Danny Kvyat.
He was promoted
Haven't heard that name.
into that drive prematurely.
And your girlfriend. And your daughter. Sounds like a plot from a Hollywood drama, right? Well,
Oh yeah. Seriously. Kind of sounds unbelievable. What?
as always on my channel, this story is 100% real. And although these are the most dramatic parts of his story, the title is more an understatement than anything else. You'll see what I mean.
Who is the right guy to be partnering Max Verstappen?
Born on April 26, 1994, in Ufa, Russia, Daniel Kvyat moved to Moscow with his parents when he was just 6 years old. He jumped into a go-kart for the first time at 8, instantly falling in love.
Then moved to Italy to do more karting when I was 11 years old.
At such a young age, he were living a lot of different places. It's kind of crazy for me. I know that there is some families that are moving all around all the time, but even this is kind of already crazy for me, but okay.
To be honest with you guys, not much is known about his early years, but let's be real. If a Russian family, just a decade after the Soviet Union collapsed, could afford go-karts and relocate to another country, they weren't exactly clipping coupons. Anyway, after crushing it in karting and racking up quite a few international titles, Kvyat caught the attention of two big players, a Russian oil giant and Red Bull Racing. At the time, Red Bull was ramping up its young driver program, where we also discovered another pretty promising driver.
Hello, my name is Carlos Sainz Jr. I'm 15 years old.
Red Bull got both of them in an open-wheel car, and they were so impressed by what they saw that they signed them both right away. From that point on, Kvyat and Sainz were officially part of the Red Bull program. So, what happened next? For Kvyat, it was straight to Formula BMW in 2010. That's where he got his first taste of single-seaters and started making serious moves towards F1. He snagged a few podiums and wins, proving he had the skills, and even dipped his toes into Formula Renault the same year. By 2012, after a few solid seasons in different series of Formula Renault, he finally clinched the Alp Series title. Then came 2013, the year Kvyat went full beast mode. He made his GP3 debut and absolutely crushed it. With 2 wins and 3 podiums, he took the title. Yeah, in his rookie season. His rise was so fast and so impressive.
Now I'm kind of thinking, what did he do that he got fired?
I think you know what happened.
No?
It was simply inevitable. When Webber retired at the end of 2013, it set off a domino effect. Ricciardo got promoted to Red Bull, and Helmut Marko decided to roll the dice on the young hotshot, Kvyat.
Resume with motorsport, as Russia's second ever Formula One driver, Daniel Kvyat, is preparing for his maiden season in the year Russia hosts their maiden F1 race in Sochi.
But it wasn't just a Toro Rosso seat. It was hopes of one day driving for Red Bull. And at just 19 years old, 10 months and 18 days, when he debuted at the Australian GP, Kvyat had a long, bright future ahead. Or at least, that's what everyone thought back then. And man, the season couldn't have kicked off better for the young Russian. In Melbourne, he qualified 8th and finished 9th, just behind his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne. By doing so, he set the record as the youngest point scorer in F1, beating...
That's high. I'm so dumb at this. How many drivers are there? How many formulas are driving at the same race? Sorry. I know. I should know this.
Vettel's record. After that, he kept the momentum going, scoring points again in Malaysia, China, the UK, and Belgium. He was on top of his game, and his popularity kept on growing.
Very, very close, touching front wing and rear tyre, Toro Rosso to Ferrari there. That's a lovely move by Kvyat.
And he wasn't far behind Vergne. I mean, the Frenchman had already been at Toro Rosso 3 seasons without any real wow moments, so it was pretty clear the Russian was shaping up to be Red Bull's next big hope. The plan plan? Keep him at Toro Rosso for a couple of years, let him build up some confidence, and then move him up to the first team when he was ready. Simple, right? But then, things took an unexpected turn.
Sebastian Vettel to leave Red Bull at the end of the 2014 season.
You took us all by surprise this morning with the announcement you're leaving Red Bull. How difficult a decision was that to make?
Well, you can imagine, obviously, a very tough one. It's not, that I'm unhappy. I obviously enjoyed every, race I had there, and we had an incredible run.
Honestly, nobody saw it coming. With barely any time to react, Marco and Horner had to make a decision.
Red Bull Racing signed young sensation Daniil Kvyat for the 2015 season.
My name is Daniil Kvyat.
So, yeah, that's how Kvyat ended up at Red Bull. Not bad, right? At the time, I think only...
Seriously, at F1, and he was 19 years old? I don't know how old is normal age that you get in. I don't know, but it's kind of seems young. Because it's been years since I have been 19. So yeah, seriously feels young.
Vettel had gotten promoted to the first team that quickly. Just goes to show how much faith they had in Kvyat. The big questions were, how would he handle the pressure? And could he keep up with Ricciardo? Everyone was asking the same thing, and well, it didn't take long to get some answers. I won't lie, 2015 started off pretty rough for Red Bull. The car was absolute trash, and Kvyat and Ricciardo could barely fight for points. Kvyat didn't even make it to the start of the first race in Melbourne due to transmission issues on the way to the grid. Total disaster. After that, Kvyat and Ricciardo started...
I thought the Red Bull had no issues and the best of the best all the time. Probably since Max Verstappen were there, I don't know.
Scoring points consistently, but they were still way behind Mercedes, Ferrari, and believe it or not, Williams. Yeah, they were actually still competitive back then. Their highlight was Monaco, where Kvyat finished 4th and Ricciardo came in 5th.
Ricciardo 5th, Kvyat a career best finish of 4th.
But even then, they weren't anywhere close to fighting for wins. Honestly, it was just sad to watch. Red Bull went from winning 4 straight championships to being a midfield mess at the start of the hybrid era. They had 2 amazing young drivers, but with a car like that, they didn't stand a chance.
Jump from the chassis.
It wasn't until the Hungarian GP, where Mercedes finally showed some weaknesses, that Red Bull got their chance to shine.
It's lights out, and away we go. Rosberg and Hamilton head away. Really good start from Vettel. He's already... Ferrari are flying. Daniel Ricciardo's had a dreadful start for Red Bull too. It's another bad start for the 2 Mercedes.
These tires are vibrating a lot.
Oh, no massive lock-up and no front wing for Nico Hülkenberg. And now Sebastian Vettel can go as well. And look at how Daniel Ricciardo is right on Lewis Hamilton's tail. Hamilton and Ricciardo come together, and Ricciardo has to go wide, rejoins the race, still wheel to wheel, but there's damage on Lewis Hamilton's car.
And he's the one that was most vulnerable at the back then. Once again, he's gone wide. Now he's lost another position to Kvyat. Hamilton having an awful restart.
And through all the carnage, all the crashes, all the penalties, all the coming together, one man has stayed out in front. It is for Danny Kvyat, a first ever podium in Formula One. For Daniel Ricciardo, it's 3rd place as Red Bull put 2 cars on the podium for the first time in 2015.
What an absolutely insane race. Easily the best of that season. At just 21 years and 91 days, Kvyat made history as the 2nd youngest driver ever to land a podium.
Okay. One of the youngest.
Already know who the youngest was. Oh, and Kvyat also set a new record as the best finishing Russian driver in F1. At that point, it felt like Kvyat was just ticking off the milestones and might be the next Vettel. The Hungarian GP was a huge confidence boost for the team. And while I'd love to say they kept that momentum going, The truth is, they didn't. Sure, the second half of the season was a bit better, but the Red Bull car still wasn't anything to write home about. Plus, their Renault engine had a ton of reliability issues. Ricciardo snagged another podium in Singapore, while Kvyat's best results were 2 fourth-place finishes in Spa and Mexico. They were doing their best, but with a car like that, it was all about damage control. 2015 turned into a pretty forgettable year overall. The second half of Kvyat's season is mostly remembered for this absolutely insane moment during qualifying in Japan.
Oh, that's a big crash.
It's blurred.
In the Red Bull, and we do see big accidents.
Wow, just a tiny touch of grass, and boom. Luckily, Kvyat walked away without a scratch, but honestly, that was right up there with the kind of shit Maldonado and Grosjean were pulling off back in the day. And then there was this gem in Austin.
That was going to happen, and there goes Danny Kvyat. And Kvyat has gone into the Armco, coming out of the penultimate corner, and that's quite a big impact.
Yeah, not exactly his finest moments.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
But overall, it was actually a pretty solid year for Kvyat, considering how terrible the car was. He finished 7th in the championship, even beating Ricciardo by 3 points. Kvyat proved he was at least on Ricciardo's level, right? To be fair, you couldn't ask for more from Kvyat that year. He did everything he could. Why don't you do the same and click that subscribe button? Helps more than you might think. 2016 was looking like it could be a better season. The goal? Win a few races. Nothing too crazy, just a solid improvement over 2015. Could they achieve that? Well, surprise, surprise, Kvyat's season couldn't have started worse.
Well, we got a car stopped in the middle of the grid.
Well, it looks like a Red Bull. That could be Danny Kvyat. It is Danny Kvyat's car that has stopped on the grid.
It's not
very
working
much
already.
out of position.
At this point, it was starting to feel like a tradition for the Russian to miss the first race of the year. In Bahrain, things got a bit better, and Kvyat finished 7th,
Oh my
while
God.
Ricciardo
Did someone put a curse on him? It's a bad joke, but what? It's weird.
ended in 4th. Until here, things were kinda normal. And trust me, you'll see what I mean, because after that race, let's just say things got weird as Like, I'm not even sure how to explain it kinda weird.
Welcome along to round 3 of the Formula One World Championship. In 2016, we have beautiful weather here in Shanghai today and a mixed up grid and a promise of 56 laps of thrilling racing to come.
After all the struggles at the start of the season, both Red Bulls finally make it into Q3, with Ricciardo grabbing a solid 2nd place and Kvyat in 6th. Finally some progress, and everyone's hoping for a double top 5 finish in the race. But then Sunday comes, and at the start, well, things get messy.
And it's lights out, and away we go. Good start from Rosberg, good start from Ricciardo, and also from Sebastian Vettel. Now, Kimi Räikkönen, I should say, almost contact there, as Bottas has to go wide, and Kvyat slips in on the inside of the 2 Ferraris have crashed.
Massive start from Kvyat, from P6 to P3. Let's be real, skipping the brakes makes it a hell of a lot easier to gain a bunch of spots in one corner. But anyways, with the Red Bulls in 1st and 3rd, the race is looking pretty good. But just a few laps later...
And Ricciardo's got a problem, he's got a puncture. It's the left rear, and the rubber goes flying off the car as he's got to watch himself. Ricardo Higgs is...
Actually haven't seen that, like, never for Formula. I thought that the tires are, I think, amazing and tough and stuff. But what?
His teammate now has gone past him as well, and that is absolute tragedy. Personal tragedy there for Daniel Ricciardo, really hampering his progress and shaking his head. Daniel Ricciardo comes back out.
While the Aussie is busy making an epic comeback to P4, Kvyat holds on to 3rd place and snags his final podium of this season.
Danny Kvyat will come home now to collect another podium from Red Bull and their 1st of the season so far.
Just brilliant. But in the cool-down room, Vettel's still not over the start.
You asking what happened at the start. If I don't go to the left, you crash into us and we all 3 go out. You came like a torpedo.
Well, it's racing.
I'm racing, but you know, if I keep going the same line, you'll crash.
Don't keep going.
Yeah, but there was a car on the left also.
Well,
that's
so
why
I can see all the 3 cars, man. Go on. I have only 2 eyes, 2 cars.
You'll crash if you do like that.
But we didn't. So.
Yeah, you did it.
And that, my friends, was the birth of the torpedo.
From Russia, Danny, the torpedo Kvyat.
That was nothing compared to what happened in the next race at Sochi.
Okay.
Kvyat starts from P8 and once again goes all out at the start, only to run into Vettel once again.
Valtteri Bottas, Raikkonen takes second place and there's contact in the back. Two Red Bulls that are getting tangled up. Danny Kvyat and Daniel spin. There is a spinning Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel.
What the f... Looks like Kvyat forgot how to use the brakes after China, with Vettel as his preferred target. And the German just loses it completely.
Oh, I'm out! Crash! Somebody hit me in the rear, turn 2, and then somebody hit me in the rear again in turn 3. For f***'s sake. Honestly, what the f*** are we doing here?
Yep, torpedoed
Oh my
3
God.
times in 2 races. Yeah, he messed up 2 starts in a row, but at least he still got the podium in China. He could turn it around in the next races and score some...
Isn't that his thing now?
decent results, right? I mean, the car was proven to be kind of fast. Well, Marco and Horner had other plans for him.
Red Bull have replaced Danny Kvyat with Max Verstappen for the rest of the F1 season.
No fucking way. Defo one of the most controversial driver swap.
And that was like that? Just one day, just surprise. Like that? He didn't even know. Kvyat.
Ever. But who the heck was this Max Verstappen guy back then anyway? Well, I haven't
He looks young as well.
mentioned that yet. It all kicked off in August 2014. Apparently, this 16-and-a-half-year-old Verstappen was a total racing prodigy, dominating everywhere he went. Obviously, a talent like that didn't fly under the radar for F1 teams, and after Mercedes tried to sign him, Red Bull swooped in with an offer he couldn't turn down, because that same year, they let him drive the Toro Rosso in free practice in Japan and Brazil. Yeah, at just 17, which didn't make any sense at all. But that wasn't even the wildest part.
Max Verstappen makes history, joins Toro Rosso as Formula One's youngest driver.
Absolutely wild. At just 17 years and 166...
He looks so young. Duh, he is, but I can't even almost recognize him.
days, Verstappen became the youngest F1 driver ever to debut in Melbourne in 2015. But the craziest part, he'd only done 1 season in single-seaters before jumping straight into F1. It made zero sense. A lot of people were scratching their heads about putting someone as young as Verstappen in F1. But to be honest, he shut everyone up pretty fast. He was an absolute beast, showing insane maturity and an aggressive but super effective driving style.
From Max Verstappen.
They know no fear, do they?
That season, he scored points in 10 races and even pulled off 2 4th-place finishes in Hungary and Austin.
Max Verstappen, meanwhile, what an effort from the Toro Rosso driver. He has now equalled his best ever finish.
He ended up with 49 points, way ahead of Sainz's 18, who honestly didn't do that bad either, especially with the car they had. But Verstappen was just on another level. It was pretty obvious Red Bull had hit the jackpot with Max. Basically, Red Bull was just looking for any excuse to get Max into the main team ASAP, and Kvyat's mistakes were soon going to create that perfect excuse. Let's be real, the Russian had scored the team's only podium that season, and even beaten Ricciardo in 2015, so it's not like he was slacking off or doing terribly to deserve that. It was a pretty controversial move, to put it lightly. Getting dropped from Red Bull to Toro Rosso was something that had never happened before, and no one really knew what was next for Kvyat's career. And if you think that was bad enough for Kvyat, what happened in the next race in Barcelona was straight up surreal.
And it's lights out and away we go. It was a super start from Nico.
It's so intriguing every time when he says that. Come on.
Rosberg, Hamilton's got going as well. 3 we go, and it's Nico Rosberg and Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate. The two Mercedes come together.
Ferrari saw what was coming, that Red Bull were going to use Verstappen against them.
Verstappen into the pit. At the Circuit de Catalunya, the sun is out, the smiles will be out. At 18 years and 227 days old, Max Verstappen wins a Formula One Grand Prix.
Unbelievable, Max. Unbelievable.
Max Verstappen, youngest F1 winner ever, at just 18 years and 226 days old. A record that's pretty much unbeatable. For most, the win just proved Marko and Horner right. That season, while Verstappen...
I already before this video kind of like Max, you know, but... Wow.
racked up 6 more podiums, Kvyat only managed to score points 3 more times, but at least he didn't get dropped for 2017. Unfortunately, that year was a total letdown for the Russian. Sainz was scoring points left and right, while Kvyat only scored once. His season was so bad.
Trouble brewing at Toro Rosso. The man they nicknamed the Torpedo seems to have done it again, Paul di Resta.
Battling for position.
Oh, and he's clipped another car as well.
That after Singapore, he got fired again. And replaced by Gasly. And while Kvyat lost his F1 seat, at least in his personal life, things were still going good. In January 2017, Kvyat started dating Kelly Piquet, daughter of 3-time world champion Nelson Piquet. She had been working as a social media and PR consultant for Formula E. Was pretty popular on social media. If things weren't exactly going great on track for Kvyat, at least they were going pretty good off track. Then in 2018, trying to rebuild his career in any way he could, Kvyat became Ferrari's 3rd driver, doing some testing and simulator work. By the end of that season, another unexpected twist in his life came up. Hell, the Red Bull program had turned into a fucking mess. After completely ruining his career, they now wanted to bring him back. Could he finally regain his confidence and rebuild his career? Honestly, the Russian came back solid, and it seemed he left the torpedo days behind. To top it off, he was expecting a baby girl with his girlfriend Kelly, who was born right around the celebration for the German GP the day before the race.
I just arrived home last night and obviously went straight to the hospital to meet my newborn daughter, and it was amazing.
And as if the baby brought him some luck, that race ended up being one of the most memorable, definitely one of the best I've seen in recent years.
And it's lights out and away we go. It's a tentative start, going wide. Valtteri Bottas through turn 1. That'll give Kimi Räikkönen encouragement. Oh, there's a spin. There's a spin. It's Sergio Perez. Oh, that is Carlos Sainz. Leclerc has gone into the barriers at the penultimate turn.
Everybody
is out of the race.
Oh,
Danny Kvyat was in 2nd place. Listen to the roar.
Kvyat will have DRS. The rear wing opens and he sails past in the Toro Rosso Honda.
Danny Kvyat, a 3rd podium in Formula 1.
Absolutely insane. Kvyat nailed it, pulling off an epic comeback from P14 to P3 after everything he went through with Red Bull.
I think obviously the decision in a way was a bit of a shock.
It's honestly one of the best revenge stories I've ever seen. At that point, nothing could get the better of him. But while Kvyat was busy rebuilding himself as a driver and performing at his best, things at Red Bull were falling apart. Verstappen was, of course, the clear team leader, but Gasly wasn't living up to expectations. And then, the summer bombshell hit.
Was promoted into that drive prematurely. Question is, who is the right guy to be partnering Max Verstappen?
Red Bull did it again, and honestly, it made no sense. It was a total mess. But hey, the replacement's pretty obvious, right?
We'll give Alex Albon a run for the remaining 9 races.
9 races to demonstrate that he's got the right qualities to be a Red Bull racing driver.
What's the actual fuck? Red Bull straight up chose a rookie with just 12 F1 races over Kvyat. It was a pretty fucked up decision. You've got to feel for Kvyat. Rejected not once, but twice. But the torpedo didn't let it get to him, and right after the news, he pulled off another incredible drive in Spa, making his way from P19 to P7.
Good job, Danny. It was a good race.
That season, he scored points in 3 more races and was kept by Toro Rosso for 2020. But the next year, things were about to take a twist. Yeah, another. I've been digging for a bit, and it's not exactly clear, as some sources say late 2019 and others say early 2020, but the relationship between Piquet and Kvyat ended around that time. And I bet that was a big blow to the Russian. I'd love to tell you that he became stronger after that, but honestly, that season the Torpedo was pretty awful.
Someone's had a very, very big crash, and it's Danny Kvyat. Oh no, Daniel Kvyat's out of the race. Shredded, disintegrated.
That's about curb. That's about running curb.
And Gasly basically destroyed him at AlphaTauri, even pulling off a win at that crazy Italian GP.
Pierre Gasly wins the Italian Grand Prix. Oh my, is that just wonderful?
So, well, once again, people were questioning his future in F1. Yep. For the 523rd time, there was this other guy who proved that he was just as fast off track as on it. He started hooking up with Kelly Piquet. The one, the only, Mr. Still Your Girl.
I'm Max Verstappen.
Yep, the guy who took Kvyat's job at Red Bull was now dating his ex. It's like Verstappen straight up...
Oh, that's harsh. Oh my god.
Stole Kvyat's life. As if things weren't bad enough. By the end of the season, the worst happened for Kvyat. Yuki Tsunoda was going to take his spot in 2021. No F1 seat, no girlfriend. Honestly, what else could possibly go wrong for the Torpedo? If anyone knows how to bounce back, it's him. He did the same thing he did when Toro Rosso dropped him the first time, became Alpine's reserve driver in 2021, hoping to land a seat in 2022. But while Verstappen was racking up title after title in what used to be his car, Kvyat never made it back to F1. Instead, he had to hustle in the WEC and do some testing in NASCAR and Formula E. In 2024, Kvyat raced in the hypercar class with Lamborghini without much success, while Verstappen bagged his 4th straight title with Red Bull.
The Dutch driver will retain his crown!
If that wasn't enough, in December, the Dutchman announced he was expecting a baby with Kelly Piquet, making it even clearer that he'd basically won everything, both on and off track. Yeah, Kvyat might have lost everything he had, but honestly, I truly feel for the guy. I really believe that if Red Bull hadn't fucked up his confidence, he could have turned into a top driver in F1. He's definitely shown...
I bet, like... It's so damn painful. Like, they fired him, then, okay, come back. And just, again, so quickly. That's so rough.
And he's got the talent, which isn't to be said about this other racer.
Okay. Seriously. It's not like interesting, but like how life works, you know? How the chance the one guy will take your seat and your wife and your daughter. Actually, how is he now? I don't know if this video is quite young, new. But, oh my gosh. Seriously, at the start it looked kind of promising. I didn't understand at what point he will start to F up things, you know. But I guess there is some... I have seen some that they are much more garbage than him. But okay. It is what it is. It's life, sadly. But yeah, you know. So yeah. I hope that you did enjoy this video, and if you did, please consider to leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, if you have some suggestions for me, leave that in my Discord server, please. And yeah, take care. Bye.